Welcome to another installment of Versus, a segment where we take a look at two highly anticipated upcoming games that have a lot of similarities, and we stack these two titles against each other. First, we give a little background, why we think each game will be great, and then finally, which one we are more excited for. This time, we're going to be comparing two of the best looking and most anticipated beat-em-ups. But first, one game in this segment will always have a slight edge and will be labeled the winner. However, we love games, celebrating them and comparing two amazing titles is only going to bring more attention to both, which is a win-win scenario. Spoiler alert, we are only going to ever compare two great looking games, which means that the real answer is that you can't go wrong with either title. Before jumping in, we just want to take a quick second out of your day, ask you to subscribe if you watch this review, you enjoy it, and you want to see more like it. Video games is a positivity-first gaming outlet. We believe that gaming should be a force for good. We focus on making uplifting content with constructive discussions and celebrating what makes games great. As mentioned, this time around we're going to be heading into one of the oldest genres of gaming, which is the 2D co-op side-scrolling beat-em-up, and comparing Marvel Cosmic Invasion and Absolum. If you want to check out some of our previous installments where we compared two highly anticipated Ninja reboots with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Shinobi Art of Vengeance, or Hollow Knight Silksong and Crowsworn, we'll link those in the description. Beat-em-ups are one of the oldest genres that took advantage, or technically made the most out of the limitations of the 2D technology at the time. Iconic titles like Double Dragon, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and TMNT dominated both the arcade and the home console market. However, as technology evolved, many genres eventually faded out of relevance, with beat-em-ups being one of them, along with side-scrolling shooters and bullet hells. It shouldn't come as any surprise that the two most anticipated beat-em-ups are both coming from Dotemu, who have shown a consistent pattern with revitalizing older genres, especially beat-em-ups. In 2020 there was Streets of Rage 4, and in 2022 there was TMNT Shredder's Revenge, which was a huge tribute to the NES and the arcade TMNT titles from the early 90s. Fans embraced these two titles as they kept the retro feel, but added a modern touch. Shredder's Revenge sold over 1 million copies in its first week, which is impressive, especially considering it was also on Xbox Game Pass on day one. Streets of Rage 4 has also gone on to sell quite well, selling over 2.5 million copies within its first few years. Due to the success of Streets of Rage 4, Sega realized that there was still a hungry fan base for the series, and announced a list of titles in development at the Game Awards in 2023, and these titles included a new Streets of Rage, in addition to other classics like Shinobi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, and Crazy Taxi. Streets of Rage 4 was developed by Lizard Cube, Dotemu, and Guard Crush. While we don't know who will be working on Streets of Rage 5, based on the snippet that was shown, it looks like Sega is taking the series into a more 3D direction, and it would be safe to assume that it's not any of the same developers of Streets of Rage 4. TMNT Shredder's Revenge was developed by Montreal-based studio Tribute Games, who were most known for Mercenary Kings prior to making it big with the Bodacious Turtles. As mentioned earlier, Shredder's Revenge was a commercial smash and was loved by critics as well. My only feedback was that gameplay was focused on the old school style a little too much. I would have loved a few more modern gameplay mechanics or light leveling included to increase the gameplay depth. However, with any remake or reinvention, it's always a double-edged sword. If you don't do anything, people are going to be upset that it's just the same game, and if you alter too much, then people will be upset that there were too many changes. Clearly, with the commercial and critical success, Tribute Games walked that line perfectly. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is the next game from Tribute Games after their great work on TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Just like Shredder's Revenge, development is being handled solely by the Montreal-based studio. Tribute looks to be bringing what people loved about Shredder's Revenge to the Marvel Universe with their dazzling pixel art that harkens back to the glory days of the genre, and a few modern gameplay mechanics to feel fresh. Shredder's Revenge featured up to 6 players co-op, both locally and online, and it featured plenty of unique co-op additions to gameplay, including being able to gain health by giving high fives to other teammates. Although it hasn't been said, it would be safe to assume that a lot of the same elements are going to be included in Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Even though only 4-player co-op has been confirmed, it would be surprising if it didn't end up featuring 6-player co-op, especially since Shredder's Revenge already featured 6, which means they are very familiar with how to implement this mechanic, and the Marvel arcade beat-em-ups of the 90s featured the extremely identifiable 6-player cabinets. Just like TMNT Shredder's Revenge was a throwback to the 90s arcade beat-em-up cabinet, Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a huge tribute to the games like Captain America and the Avengers as well as X-Men. Details are still fairly sparse, but in Marvel Cosmic Invasion, the immortal supervillain Annihilus has launched an unprecedented attack across the galaxy. The only thing that can save Earth is this ragtag group of superheroes plucked from the colorful 90s comic books, including Wolverine, Spider-Man, Venom, Captain America, and Storm, just to name a few of the 16 superheroes who will be defending Earth. Only about half of the heroes have been revealed so far, and the remainder will likely be revealed in the lead up to the game's release to increase the title's visibility. Marvel Cosmic Invasion will see you brawl your way across the universe, including planet Earth and the streets of New York City, all the way to the depths of the negative zone far off in the galaxy. The big mechanic with Marvel Cosmic Invasion is that you get to choose and control your own team of 2 superheroes with the ability to swap them in and out during battles. Not only is this going to add a much needed level of variety, but it is also implemented into gameplay to improve depth, as you can capitalize on distinct superpowers depending on what the situation requires and create unique team-ups. Experimenting with different dynamic duos is also going to lead you to discovering stellar power-ups and rewards. Based on how it already sounds, it appears that Marvel Cosmic Invasion is going to have a lot more depth and variety than Shredder's Revenge. According to the CEO of Tribute, their goals are to once again modernize and push forward the genre while respecting what made the classics great. Absolum is a beat-em-up with roguelite elements and what is likely the world's first rogue-em-up, as they are initially referring to it as. Absolum is also going to be the beginning of something very important, as it's going to be .emu's first original IP. The importance of Absolum and the future of .emu can't be stressed enough. New IP is risky, and without success, they may not continue to pursue original ideas, which would be a shame. Absolum is a rich fantasy adventure that channels the spirit of Golden Axe. According to the press release, Absolum features an engaging narrative with themes of foiling, an unbridled, dictatorial power, and cheating death itself. A magical cataclysm has happened, and in the wake, the Sun King Azra has taken this moment of weakness to conquer all of the lands and eliminate all sources of magic through his Crimson Order. Any wizard who is unwilling to bend the knee and serve the king will be slaughtered for treason. The last hope of the people lies within the hands of a few courageous rebels with the help of an ancient and forbidden magic. Absolum promises to be an unforgettable journey with a campaign that is playable in either solo or 2-player co-op, both local or online. The small band of rebels that you will control features 4 unique heroes: Galandra the Warrior, Carl the Dwarf, Brome the Wizard, and Cider the Assassin. Each hero plays very differently with their own unique skill set, personality, and motivation. Galandra is far more than your typical warrior, as she also combines her colossal sword with necromantic powers. Carl the Dwarf is a master of close-range combat with his tanky dwarf nature, but he is also armed with a blunderbuss to add in some long-range support. We don't know much about the other 2 heroes just yet, but Brome is a wizard prodigy fighting to keep his ancestral heritage alive, and Cider is a nimble skirmisher in search of answers. Once again, it's very important to stress that both of these games look incredible, and I can't wait to play both of them. However, I am more excited to play Absolum, and the reasons are almost endless. Marvel Cosmic Invasion looks like an experience that I had with TMNT Shredder's Revenge, which is solid, but Absolum is reaching higher and trying to innovate. I want to experience something that I haven't before. In the beginning, the genre was known for its simplistic combat and shallow storylines. With Absolum, there is the sounds of a promising story with different character motivations that take place in a universe that sounds captivating and unique. There is the dwarven mines of Grandery to the lush forests of Jeroba. Everything about Absolum seems steeped in high fantasy. Absolum is also trying to incorporate roguelite elements, 4 unique character classes, items to unlock, permanent upgrades, and quests to add variety, as well as to increase the replay factor. More than just having 4 unique classes, Absolum is also trying to offer a combat system with plenty of depth to keep players engaged with elemental powers, in-run upgrades, chain combos, synchronized attacks, and magical counters that demand skill and timing. If all of that wasn't enough, the visuals are absolutely jaw-dropping, which is thanks to the collaboration on this project. There's Guard Crush and .emu, who have been honing their skills with beat-em-ups, but when it comes to the visuals, that is being handled by animation studio Supermonks. I might not be overly familiar with their works, but judging by the trailer and the gameplay snippets that I've seen, I am sold. Absolum has a very unique look, but it's also going to have a very unique sound thanks to the score, which is being led by composer Gareth Coker. There are maybe a dozen composers in the video game industry that people know by name, and Gareth Coker is one of them thanks to his incredible scores for the Ori series, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Halo Infinite. It doesn't end there either, as the score is going to feature guest compositions from Mick Gordon, best known for Doom, and Yuka Kitamura from Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Absolum is checking all of the boxes to get excited for: story, gameplay, visuals, score, and most importantly, an experience that looks refreshing and original. Without a doubt, it looks to be taking the Hades blueprint that was used for roguelites and applying it to beat-em-ups. Absolum is much more than just a new IP for .emu, it's their attempt to push the genre forward by infusing it with modern elements and other genres to give it more depth. In the words of the CEO, Absolum is a crucial new venture.